This demonstration we're going to look at the changes that were made by running the Getting Started wizard that we ran in an earlier demo for direct access. When we finished the wizard, what it did is it brought us into this screen here. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look at the various configuration changes. So if we just select Edit in the case of step 1, what we can see here is we've deployed full direct access for client access and remote management, rather than just for remote management only. In the case of the groups, we have the groups that we put in place. So this was a group that we created purely for direct access. We haven't bothered enabling direct access for mobile computers only, and we're not using forced tunneling either to connect to the internal network or the internet via the remote access server. With the network connectivity system, if we watch one of the earlier demos, what we'll find is we didn't actually configure this resource. This was created as part of the wizard. So this is just resources to validate connectivity. But what we did configure is we did configure our help desk email address, which is completely optional but highly recommended. And we also modified the name of the direct access connection name. So we won't modify anything, so we'll just select cancel and select OK. Then if we move along, next section we have is step 2, which is actually having a look at remote access server configuration. So select the edit button. And again, just on the network topology, what we've done at this point here is we specified this as an edge. And what we also did is we specified the IP address or the public name that clients will connect to for direct access. Network adapters, so we're using a network adapter called Internet, which was identified via this IP address. And for the adapter connected to the internal network, we're using our London network address. We generated a self-signed certificate, which isn't really recommended for production, but fine for a lab environment. And with our authentication, we're going to use Active Directory credentials, so username and password. But as you can see here, we can do things like using two-factor authentication or a one-time password. We're not using computer certificates, again, that might be recommended. And we're not using Windows 7 client computers, we've actually got Windows 10. So again, we'll just select cancel and we'll select OK. Move this along. So we've also got step 3, our infrastructure servers, so we'll just select our edit button. So what we've got at this point here is just for our network location server, we're going to be using network location servers deployed on the remote access server, so this box itself. We're going to use a self-signed certificate, but again, ideally we'd want to use a valid certificate, not self-signed. For DNS, we've got a datum.com, we've got the DNS server address, and we've also got our direct access network location service as well. If we just have the suffix search list at this point here, what we can see is we've got the domain suffixes to use. We'll use a datum.com, and then under management, we're not using any management servers at this point. So again, we'll select cancel, and we'll just select OK. Then we've got step 4, which is our application servers. Now if you have a look here, we're not extending authentication to any application servers at this point, so we'll just select cancel. And we'll select OK again. What we'll do at this point here is we'll just minimize down the remote access. We'll come to our tools, and what we'll do is we'll just have a look down here and we'll come to group policy management, because as part of the wizard, a couple of group policies were created. And we'll just scroll through, have a look at domains, have a look at datum, and what we've got here is we've got a couple of group policies that have been created. So we've got one for direct access client settings, and we've also got another one for direct access server settings. It's highly recommended that you do not modify these group policies. They were created as part of the wizard. So let's just have a look at the direct access server settings. So we'll just edit this group policy. Like I said, we're not going to modify it. We will just have a look at some of the settings within here. And what we're going to do at this point here is we're just going to come to computer configuration. Under policies, we'll come to Windows settings. Then under Windows settings, we'll come to security settings. And then what we'll do is we'll pull this across just to try to make it a little bit easier to read. Expand that up a bit. And then what we'll do is we'll come down to our Windows firewall with advanced security. And we'll just expand this up. And the first thing we'll have a look at here is we'll just have a look at the inbound rules. And what we've got is we've got a couple of inbound rules, or a few inbound rules created for direct access. And if we have a look as well, there's no outbound rules created, but there is a connection security rule created as well. So what we'll do is we'll just close down our group policy management, and what we'll do is we'll just move to our DNS server. On our DNS server in our datum.com, what we can see here, if we look down, we can see some records have been created for direct access. And these records were also created by the Getting Started wizard. And that's the end of this demonstration of looking at the configuration changes made by running the direct access Getting Started wizard. Thank you.